minus 26. I'm Paula Jasper. Today we're in Frankfurt, and joining me is Ed Moody, also known as Pumpkin Ed. Thanks for joining me, Ed.
You're welcome. Thanks for being here today.
Now, I think the most obvious question is, how did you get started carving giant pumpkins?
Well, I've carved pumpkins all my life, 60 years. My son was about to turn a year old 30 years ago, and I wanted to do something different, and I started carving like this on smaller pumpkins. And then I started hearing about bigger pumpkins, started dreaming about Cinderella carriage, found a pumpkin on Old Mission Peninsula, went 590 pounds, cost me $1 a pound, didn't have the money, went it in, bought it anyway. And from then on, I found that there was a group of growers that hold way off festivals. So the following year, I went to St. John's with pictures in my hand and my carving tools, and went to Andy T's farm market and met the people and offered to carve a giant pumpkin for them. And I carved a pumpkin there, and I came home with 3 pumpkins, and from then on it's just been uphill all the way. It's been awesome.
Oh my gosh. So what do you carve them with?
Kitchen knives. The 3 most common knives are bird's beak paring knife, boning knife, and a fillet knife. And that's probably 99% of my carving is done with that. Occasionally I'll use something else. A clay loop or a special knife, a longer knife to get in through the really thick ones.
No, you do take the seeds out.
Yes, the seeds go back to the growers. They're vital to them. It's called Dill's Atlantic Giant Seed, and it was developed in Nova Scotia by Howard Dill. Current world record of 2,323.7 pounds. Grown in Switzerland last year.
Interesting. So it's a special seed then?
Yes, yep. And it's not a hybrid, so it does grow. The seed is viable, and it can grow any of these colors. The greens, browns, whites, orange, yellow, red, the most beautiful orange in the world. It just varies. That's the genetics within the seed.
Now, it seems like they pretty much all have a flat side?
Yes, pretty much so. The weight of them causes them to flatten out, and guys have tried various things. They've dug a rounded hole underneath, and that doesn't really work either. And they are what they are, and occasionally there will be one that is almost perfectly symmetrical, and that was the case of my first giant pumpkin, the 590 pounder. It was just a gorgeous pumpkin.
What'd you carve it into?
It was a Cinderella carriage. That was my dream.
Gotcha.
It was a Cinderella carriage. Yep.
Now, what do you do with these pumpkins at the end of the season?
The city will come in and pick them up. They're rotting really fast right now because of the hot weather, and the city will bring their end loader in and load their dump truck up and take them up to their mulch pile. I used to have to cut them up myself and haul them to a garden, and what the deer didn't eat went to mulch. And quite often they were frozen. This year they're a long way from freezing.
Right.
And that was really a long, hard day of work. And so I'm thankful that the city will do that for me.
Now, do you think all year about your ideas for the next year?
Pumpkins for me are 24/7, 365. People are always asking. I get calls, inquiries, and stuff all year long, and it's just an absolute ball. It's all about the smiles. And it has nothing to do with anything but that.
Oh my goodness. Well, thanks for joining me, Ed.
Oh, thank you. Yep.
Paula Jasper, minus 26 in Frankfurt.